So you're thinking about moving to Oakland County, Michigan. Well, in this video, we want to give you a rundown of 3 Oakland County cities as our top picks of luxury markets if you're thinking about moving to Oakland County, Michigan. Welcome. Today we're talking about Oakland County and specifically 3 luxury markets in Oakland County so you can see if that might be a good area for you. If you're thinking about moving to Michigan, a lot of people focus on Oakland County, Michigan, which is a suburb here in Southeast Michigan and one of the most affluent areas throughout the entire state for many different reasons. Now, Oakland County is huge. It's massive. There's a lot of different areas. There's a lot of different focal points. So diving into the luxury market, if that's something that you're looking for, could be of importance to you. First off, where is Oakland County? Like I said, it is a suburb of Detroit sitting here in Southeast Michigan. It is just north of Wayne County, which is where Detroit sits, and the center of kind of Southeast Michigan in the Metro Detroit area. Oakland County is just north of that and then runs pretty far east and west as well when you go north of the city. So it's a big county, like I said. Most of Oakland County, depending on where you're at, you're anywhere between 30 to an hour of Detroit Metropolitan Airport. Some parts of Oakland County are a matter of about 15 minutes to downtown Detroit, or it could be as far as an hour or so from Detroit, Michigan. So it's a very, very affluent area. A lot of people kind of focus on Oakland County. We get so many calls from people moving across the country and locally saying like, hey, we want to move, we want to stay within Oakland County, and we want to be in some very specific areas. So in this video, we wanted to kind of deep dive of 3 of our top picks for luxury markets. I don't know if these are necessarily like the 3 top luxury markets. Oakland County has a lot of different cities, a lot of different areas, a lot of different beautiful subdivisions, and depending on what you're looking for as far as speeds and feeds, what I mean by that area, location, landscape, do you want more land? Do you want to be city living? There's some different flavors, but in this video, we want to give you an example of 3 different flavors in Oakland County. Before we jump into that, my name is Matt Talbot. This is the Living in Detroit channel. If you have not checked out our channel, we talk about all things living in and moving to Michigan and very heavily focused on Southeast Michigan, where we actively sell real estate on a consistent basis. So, first city, diving into everything, our first city in Oakland County is Birmingham, Michigan. So for those of you who don't know, Birmingham, Michigan sits off of the Woodward Corridor. It's about 35 to 40 minutes or so from downtown Detroit. So you could literally jump on Woodward Avenue, take it northwest kind of, all the way to Birmingham, and it is an absolute beautiful downtown area. We have several videos on this channel on Birmingham to deep dive, but just to give you an understanding of Birmingham, the population is about 21,000. Like I said, Oakland County along the Woodward Corridor. It is the northern suburb of Detroit, and in our notes, we have it about 25 minutes from Detroit. Realistically, it could be 25 minutes on certain days, but my wife used to work there, and we lived downtown Detroit, and it would take her a little bit longer than 25 minutes for the most part. She's right in the heart of downtown Birmingham, though. It's approximately 4.7 miles long, has nearly 300 different retailers. So to paint a picture of the landscape downtown, we can run some B-roll as well here. It is a very affluent downtown area, and a lot of things are happening. There's, a million different restaurants. There's some really nice hotels and boutique shops, and some of your bigger stores as well too. You have your Lululemon and all that good stuff. Imagine Theater is there in downtown Birmingham, and it's sort of the happenings of happenings in Southeast Michigan. A lot of different ways for those more affluent communities and luxury markets, like we're talking about in this video. So a lot of people really kind of focus on downtown Birmingham. Some other notes that we have of stuff to do throughout the year, just to kind of give you a lay of the land. The farmers market is on its 22nd season. Obviously, you know what that means. Fruits, vegetables, flowers are all sold there. And they just had a tote bag contest, I guess, recently. So that's part of our notes here. But again, the farmers market's right downtown. A lot of Southeast Michigan communities have farmers markets. So it's a big thing Saturday, Sunday, sometimes during the week, but for the most part, Saturdays and Sundays. And all these little towns throughout Southeast Michigan, farmers market are a fun thing. I didn't realize this, but recently I got back from New York and we're kind of walking around, and we were in this like one neighborhood in New York. I don't even know where I was. We just walked up on a huge farmers market. I was like, oh, cool. Big cities do that too. Obviously downtown Detroit, we have Eastern Market every Saturday during the summer and throughout the year. But definitely during the summer is busier. Is a huge farmers market. And that's only, like I said, 25 to 35 minutes from Birmingham, but they have their own as well too. The winter market is German themed, ice sculptures, live entertainment, all that good stuff. Historical museum holds monthly lectures, has permanent ongoing exhibits and is the oldest in Oakland County, dating back to 1822, the pioneer home there in Birmingham. So lots of rich history there in Birmingham. It's a very established city, like a lot of the cities that we talk about on this channel. So to paint the picture, Southeast Michigan, boom, even throughout Michigan, okay? There's all these little cities, and there's a lot of them throughout Southeast Michigan, and now that cars are a thing and expressways are a thing, not necessarily when these cities started, it's very easy to jump to city, and you get all these different flavors and different areas of things to do throughout Southeast Michigan. I can't stress that enough if you're moving to the area. It's something that goes unnoticed, I think, and untalked about, and additionally, I think it's very, very important to go ahead and explore. So just because you move to a Birmingham or Plymouth or Rochester or whatever, you don't have to, although there's a lot of things those cities have to offer, if you hop from city to city and check out Southeast Michigan, I think those are the people that get the most bang for their buck, the most richness out of our area here. So Birmingham education, 3 preschools, 9 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, 2 high schools, 13-1 student-teacher ratio. Definitely a very highly sought-out school district in Birmingham. Birmingham school district does overlap a little bit in some of the surrounding communities as well too. Like you can be in Beverly Hills and have Birmingham schools. There's some other overlap throughout Birmingham schools as well as tons of private school options in the general area for a lot of people. So housing statistics, that's a big reason why people come to our channel. They want to learn a little bit more about, moving to Michigan, understanding some different areas. And like I said in this video, we're talking about luxury areas here in Oakland County. And so some housing statistics on Birmingham. Residential price ranges from $241 on the low end to $4.4 million. So a big range there, but the average sale price is about $875 in Birmingham. So, compared to Southeast Michigan or Michigan as a whole at $350, you're at $875 for your average price point in Birmingham, obviously on the higher end of things throughout the state of Michigan and definitely here in Southeast Michigan. Average price per square foot. To add to that, of course, you're on the higher end. There's a reason for it. Like I said, downtown area is fantastic. A lot of people want to be there. There's a lot of bustling economies happening as well too there. A lot of businesses work out of there. There's a lot of stuff happening in Birmingham. So there's a reason for that, right? Average price per square foot, $319 per square foot. Average days on market, 27 days. So we really see that average days on market hovering in a lot of different areas under 30 days here in Southeast Michigan. That's kind of a consistent trend here in 2024. And we see that kind of continuing to take place. There's a little bit more inventory this year than last year. However, there's still crazy low inventory. And like everything else, supply and demand kicks in, and that keeps the days on market very, very low. Average house size, 2,000 to 4,000 square feet. It's kind of a big range there. There's a variety of different home types in Birmingham: bungalows, ranch, colonials, contemporaries, Tudors. There's moderns throughout Birmingham as well too. There's a lot of different options in Birmingham. So there's a lot of different, larger estates kind of downtown. You can get real high-end condos in Birmingham if that's something that, matches your criteria. $1, $2, $3 million condos in Birmingham, and a ton of different types of real estate throughout the city itself. Just like any other downtown area where people want to be, the closer into the thick of right downtown that you are, the more expensive the properties. And of course, you kind of spread out from there in different areas as well too. Some people consider west of Woodward and east of Woodward different price points and stuff like that, which can be the case to some extent, but beautiful city, lots of great homes. And again, they're selling on the higher end of things at $875 here in Southeast Michigan. There's also, here in Birmingham, Michigan. There's also lots of new construction options throughout Birmingham. So you see a lot of homes being torn down and rebuilt. There's a lot, any lot that was ever available, has been built on. So you see a lot of bigger homes in Birmingham. And one thing that I think is different in Birmingham, or can be different than some of the other surrounding communities with downtown areas, is the city has allowed for a little bit bigger footprint on each city lot. They also allow for 3 stories, which is rare. A lot of other Southeast Michigan communities, they limit the build to 2 stories. So you can only get 1 floor and a 2nd floor and a basement, right? So Birmingham's allowed you to go up 3 stories, which can give you a much bigger home on the same type of city lot. So bigger houses also add to that additional square footage, which means a little bit higher sale price, like we talked about as well too. But there's a lot of that happening in Birmingham. Tons of new construction options, tons of different options when it comes to real estate. That is the wrap up of the Birmingham housing market. Up next on our list of luxury markets in Oakland County, Michigan is actually Birmingham's sister city in a lot of different ways, and that's Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. So you have Birmingham, Michigan, and then right above it is Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. And there's a lot of overlap there, a lot of similarities similarities. Again, I kind of consider them sister cities. I don't know if that's like an official thing or not, but basically you have Birmingham, and then right stacked above it is Bloomfield, and there's some major differences when it comes to Birmingham compared to Bloomfield. Okay, so diving into Bloomfield/Bloomfield Hills. So there's kind of some overlap there. You have the city itself, and then you have the township itself. The city of Bloomfield Hills is about 4.4 thousand, and the township is about 10 times the size, so over 40,000. So you have 40-50,000 people between Bloomfield Hills and Bloomfield Township. And like I said, it is just north of Birmingham, northwest for the most part, if you look at the map here. And sits in Oakland County, like we talked about. It is a northern suburb of Detroit, located on the Woodward Corridor as well too. So you keep going north past Birmingham, you're going to run into Bloomfield Hills, about 30 minutes from Detroit. I think that's an exaggeration. It can be 30 minutes from parts of Bloomfield, but for the most part, it's more like 35 to 45 minutes from Detroit in a lot of different areas. And you're probably close to 50 minutes guesstimated to the airport as well too. It is consistently in the top 5 wealthiest city in the United States. Many high-profile athletes and business owners live here due to the privacy many houses offer. So that's a good point. That's a great transition to what I want to talk about. Birmingham itself is a beautiful city, downtown area. The houses are a little bit more together. It's more that city living where you want to live downtown, be able to walk to, walk to work or walk to get food or go to the theater or all that good stuff, kind of that walkable downtown area. And when I think Bloomfield is a lot more like spread out, a lot more woods. You have bigger estates. There's some lakes out there as well too. A few different country clubs are in Bloomfield Hills area as well too. So you kind of have this more spread out feel. So you take Birmingham, you continue on, and you kind of like spread out. So some people might want to be like right downtown, right in the thick of it, and other people want like a bigger estate, a bigger lot, more trees, a little bit more of that type of feel, and that is definitely Bloomfield. So if you want a huge mansion there, a huge house, you want to be tucked on a lake or tucked away where no one can see you, the gate up front, you could definitely have that in Bloomfield Hills without a doubt, and very, very spread out. So a lot of the athletes in Detroit, a lot of the athletes that move to Detroit, a lot of times kind of focus on those two areas as a major focal point for them, especially if they want some privacy. So I remember Matt Stafford's house was on a lake in Bloomfield a couple years ago, just sold when he moved to LA and all that stuff. And so you get that more private, big estate feel in Bloomfield, a very, very affluent and luxury marketplace without a doubt. Education, 4 preschools, 9 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, 1 high school, and again, a 13-to-1 student-teacher ratio similar to Birmingham schools. In Bloomfield, and not far from Birmingham, is also Cranbrook as well too. That's one of the bigger private schools in the area. They start as early as preschool and go all the way through high school. It's a huge campus, a lot of things going on at Cranbrook, so that's always another option as well too if you're in the Bloomfield, Birmingham areas. There's also several other private schools locally in that part of town as well. If you want to deep dive, we can deep dive for you. Just let us know in the comments below. We can give you some more rundowns there. So Bloomfield Hills, things to do. There's a few things that pop in my head. I have my list here, but first and foremost, in my head in Bloomfield, there's so many lakes and stuff like that if you're living out there, there's a good chance you probably know someone on a lake. So lake life is big here in Michigan. We also have on our list Cranbrook Institute of Arts, founded in 1904, has an attendance of more than 300,000 people annually, offers field trips, houses an art museum, science museum, and gardens as well too. So Cranbrook, like I said, is a school and also has the Institute of Science and Art, so a place to go visit there as well, but a very big learning community at Cranbrook, which is right off of Woodward as well too. Huge campus, absolutely gorgeous, and is a very, very old school, very, very old campus, and lots of rich history, which we talk about several times on this channel. So if you want to deep dive on some of this stuff, check out our other videos. Bloomfield, Birmingham, we have a lot of different stuff on this channel, on this area, where you can deep dive yourself. So Bloomfield Hills Country Club up next, located on Long Lake Road and Rathmore Road, private golf club founded in 1909. So Bloomfield Hills Country Club is a big one. A more famous one, in my opinion, I'm a big golfer, so I grew up in a golf world and played actually competitively as a junior, and then a little bit in college and stuff like that. But Oakland Hills Country Club is also out that way as well too. And there's Franklin Hill. There's several other clubs throughout Bloomfield, Bloomfield Hills, Franklin, some of the other areas as well too. Lots of country clubs out there, so many different options if that's something that you're looking for. So we mentioned Bloomfield Hills Country Club. The more famous one out that way is Oakland Hills Country Club. If you are a golfer, you know what that means. That's world-renowned golf that's hosted tournaments like the Ryder Cup, the U.S. Open, the PGA. I mean, the biggest tournaments that the world has seen, have played at places like Oakland Hills Country Club. So lots of different country club options throughout this area if you're a golfer and you're kind of looking for that vibe. Up next, housing statistics in the Bloomfield Hills area. So obviously, when you're talking about the township, the city itself, kind of this big area, there's a lot of different ways to digest this data. We are currently in 2024, but just to give you an idea, the residential price range, according to our notes, about $600 to $3.2 million. If you do Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills, there will be smaller homes and lots and stuff sold outside of that price point. But really, over the last year, my quick search, as a current date in 2024, the highest sale price in Bloomfield Hills, Bloomfield Township over the last year was $6.8 million. And if I flip it the other way, there is some stuff as low as, the $300,000 price point and stuff like that. So the average is still up there around $900,000 for Bloomfield Hills area. So similar to a Birmingham, you're really in that $800,000-900,000 range. And of course, in Bloomfield, you have these bigger estates as well, too, that can spike $2, $3, $4 million estates and up, as you can tell, up to $7 million over the last year in the Bloomfield Township area. So average price per square foot is a little bit lower compared to Birmingham. We're really in that like $250, $300 square foot price point. And again, that sort of makes sense. You have bigger houses and more land, a little bit more spread out. So because of that, there are some homes in some neighborhoods throughout Bloomfield where you can buy a $400,000 house, a $500,000 house. Birmingham itself is such a sought out area and such a smaller town where you kind of have that more city living. We're kind of packing them in a little bit closer. So that price per square foot is a little bit higher, can't spread out as much. But again, you do have a lot of the real high end real estate in Bloomfield as far as bigger lots, bigger types of houses. Speaking of types of houses, there's lots of different colonials, ranch, Tudors, contemporaries. There's some moderns throughout Bloomfield Hills area as well too. We actually just sold a really cool mid-century modern on like a beautiful 2-acre lot. It was this really cool architect from back in the day, and the house was absolutely gorgeous. It's like buying a museum. That's such a cool house, and I'm excited for that seller I'm excited for that buyer because they're going to move in and use it for entertaining, and they're starting their family. It's a really cool house. There's a lot of stuff like that in Bloomfield Hills area. It's one of those places where if you kind of know where to look, and you dive into the different neighborhoods and you look around at some different real estate. I mean, there's some really, really impressive real estate throughout those areas. So Royal Oak, Michigan, obviously it's in Oakland County because we're talking about 3 luxury markets in Oakland County, Michigan. And this is a little bit different flavor, a little bit different vibe than Birmingham, Bloomfield. It is a little bit closer to the city of Detroit. It's about 20 minutes from the city of Detroit, also on the Woodward corridor. So when you're leaving Detroit off Woodward going north, you run into Ferndale first, and after Ferndale, you're going to run into Royal Oak. And it has a population of 57,000 people. Like I said, Oakland County, we call it the Inner Ring, a suburb of Detroit. So there's over 50 parks in Royal Oak and over 310 acres of land over those 50 parks. So there's another beautiful community, and I do consider it somewhat of a luxury market in a lot of different ways. So we wanted to give you some different flavors. Its slogan for Royal Oak makes a lot of sense, Life Now Playing. So similar to Birmingham, they have a downtown area, okay? It's actually only about 10-15 minutes to downtown Birmingham, so these aren't terribly far apart, but they have a downtown area that, again, that's where all the bars, restaurants, shopping, all that good stuff is in downtown Royal Oak. We have tons of videos on Royal Oak in this channel, so if that's an area you're thinking about moving to, check out our other videos. Make sure you stay tuned. Click through the Living in Detroit channel to find out more information on Royal Oak. But again, Life Now Playing makes a lot of sense. Birmingham, to me, a little bit bigger overall, lots of shopping, a little bit more formal, a lot of different ways, like fine dining. I mean, there's some bars and stuff to go to, but Royal Oak to me is almost like a little bit more of like a party city in some ways. Through the years has been a little bit more geared towards a younger crowd, but then there also is a lot of established families there as well too. We'll talk about the schools in a minute that want to stay for the school district. So it's a little bit different vibe than Birmingham, and has that sometimes more party feel going on. There's a few more bars than restaurants, I would say, in downtown Royal Oak comparatively, but another really cool city and definitely a luxury market in a lot of different ways. Things to do in Royal Oak, Michigan. So again, we talk about a lot of different things things in Royal Oak and Oakland County on this channel, so there's other videos to deep dive here. But one thing to mention is a Detroit Zoo, which is actually in Royal Oak, Michigan. It is not in Detroit, Michigan. More than 2,000 different animals, over 200 species. It is the largest paid family attraction each year in Michigan, the Detroit Zoo. More than 1.3 million visitors annually. Obviously, it's a big zoo. There's lions and bears and sharks and underwater, and that's the whole thing. They got a lot of things going on, so a lot of people go there and go ahead and check it out. And it happens to be in Royal Oak, Michigan, right off the 696 and Woodward corridor, so it's easy in and out to get there. Also, Royal Oak is known for several different theaters and venues and a lot of different bars, like I was saying. And the second piece on our list of things to do in Royal Oak is the Royal Oak Music Theater. Opened in 1928. A lot of different people have played there through the years. Adele, Kendrick Lamar, Ariana Grande have all performed there, and a lot of other big shows at the Royal Oak Music Theater. It's been a place that has been around for a very long time, and it's always been a good place to go catch a show if there's someone you want to see there. There's other things happening in Royal Oak as well too, for different venues and stuff like that. Last but not least, my personal favorite, Margaret Ridley's Comedy Castle, 30 years old. Has had people like Ellen, Tim Allen, Jerry Seinfeld, Jim Carrey. I mean, it is an awesome place. We have Margaret Ridley's founded the Common 3 comedian format. So I guess it's a different type of comic format at Margaret Ridley's. I love going there. It's a great setup. You get reserved tickets. There's kind of like tables throughout. Very close to the comics. Very good vibe. A lot of times they'll hang out after. You can meet the comics and stuff like that. So another thing we didn't mention on our list here is just the different formats of festivals and stuff happening in Royal Oak. One is Arts, Beats, and Eats is the big one that pops in my head as far as, things to do in Royal Oak, Michigan. And a lot of the other downtown areas have stuff like that as well too. Ferndale has a lot of different events, which is one city over from Royal Oak. We talked about Birmingham and some other areas. So not only in a city like Birmingham or Royal Oak do you get the benefits of those cities. Not only a city like Birmingham or Royal Oak do you get the benefits of those cities, but being able to hop one city over 5-10 minute drives, there's a lot of different things happening in that Woodward corridor as a whole. So we talk about a lot on this channel, Woodward corridor, a lot of things happening in that area. Royal Oak schools up next. So education, 2 preschools, 6 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 2 high schools, 14-to-1 student-teacher ratio. Very, very sought out school district as well too. Public schools there are, a lot of people want them. They're sought out. I can't really rank them compared to other schools. Not really supposed to do that. There's a lot of stuff online that you can deep dive though, but Royal Oak schools are sought out. And like I said, a lot of people kind of move there when they're younger, and some of them move out, but a lot of people end up staying, and they stay in the school district. Like we talked about, there's lots of different parks downtown, lots of different walking distance stuff. So I think you kind of see like the best of both worlds. You see some younger, people having a lot of fun downtown, but then also there's like a lot of younger families and established families throughout Royal Oak as well too. And over the last few years, it has become a very, very popular area, which leads me into our next point, which is why it makes our luxury market list here in Oakland County. Up next is housing statistics in Royal Oak. So again, we do want to consider this a luxury market. Definitely not the same world as a Birmingham, Bloomfield marketplace, but there are some really high-end homes and a lot of different options in Birmingham. But there are a lot of different luxury homes and options in Royal Oak, Michigan. So the price range really, you could get a home as least expensive as $200,000 in a city like Royal Oak, but the high point is really in that like 1.3 range. And there's a lot of homes sold from 700 to 1.3 in Royal Oak, and a lot of those are new construction type teardowns. There's been new construction year after year for the last 15-20 years in Royal Oak. There's a lot of that stuff happening, and it continues to happen on a daily basis because it's such a sought out area. Average price point in Royal Oak right now is $401,000, so less than half of Birmingham, Bloomfield. But again, there's a lot of higher end homes in that area as well too. Price per square foot, $274. Average days on market is 19 days. So they're selling even faster than Bloomfield, Birmingham in a city like Royal Oak overall. There's a lot of different houses, colonials, ranch, bungalows, Tudors. There's a lot of different new construction house where you get that craftsman type look, and some different stuff like that throughout Royal Oak. The Royal Oak community, as well as other parts of Woodward Corridor, they also have some stuff that you might not consider luxury market, but they have a lot of ranches and bungalows and mid-century houses, and actually houses that date back to the 1920s and 30s as well too. So a lot of people that focus on a city like Royal Oak, sometimes they want the newer big construction luxury type house, but a lot of people also focus focus on some of those older type architecture with a little bit more style, a little bit more history, a little bit more of that original feel in those bungalows and some of those houses throughout Royal Oak, Michigan. So it's a very, very sought out area. Also, right downtown Royal Oak, there's some higher end condos as well too. We've sold several of those through the years. Some higher end real estate condos in downtown Royal Oak too, townhouses and stuff that a lot of people focus on. So a lot of people moving to Oakland County, moving to the area, they move here for the hospital systems a lot. Beaumont Hospital actually is in Royal Oak, so that's one of the reasons why this area is one of the luxury areas. A lot of people want to live in Royal Oak because they can easily commute in and out of the hospital. Huge hospital there at Beaumont, as well as a lot of the physicians and doctors and stuff, live in a Bloomfield, Birmingham area as well too. Easy commute to the hospital, but we see a lot of our residents and stuff like that move to downtown Royal Oak, and a lot of times we help put them in condos in that downtown area, get that city feel. You don't have to deal with taking care of a house and all that stuff. So there's a handful of different options, lower price point compared to Bloomfield, Birmingham in Royal Oak. However, there is a lot of those newer construction, those bigger builds, 800, 900, 1.1, all the way up to 1.3 over the last year in Royal Oak, Michigan, which why it makes our top luxury list here in Oakland County. So our effort to kind of explain 3 luxury markets in Oakland County, Birmingham, Bloomfield, and Royal Oaks, give you some different flavors, a couple different downtown areas, a couple different price points than Bloomfield, obviously a little bit more spread out, a little bit more land. There's some different flavors if you're thinking about that more luxury market as you're moving here to Southeast Michigan. Oakland County can be a huge target area for you. If that is you, let us know. Hit the Calendly link in our YouTube page. Set up an introduction today. We can deep dive with you and learn a little bit more about your particular situation. Thanks so much for checking out this video. This is the Living in Detroit channel. Stay tuned for more videos just like this.